Point
now
is
these
taken.
things are not being mentioned anywhere. Just a half truth is being given out, which would make people think that some kind of foul play has happened.
I take your point.
As for the next marks, even those can be.
Shreya Ghoshal, I'm going to come back to you. Let's go back to the central issue on this debate. Dr. Ashish Nandi, you said you do genuinely feel that there is an attempt to say that one section of protesters who have political leanings are possibly more violent than others. Do you think it is important now for the government to come to terms with protests in a way? Do you feel the government has come to terms with protest, or do you feel they are too knee-jerk in their reactions each time a few hundred people get together and start shouting slogans? Do you think there's a sense of nervousness, Dr. Nandi, and if so, why?
I think in the ruling party, the proportion of politicians have diminished dramatically over the last few years. We have people who have no experience of facing mobs or protest, and the only way they can handle protest is through the police. And the police, being a colonial police, 65 years after the end of colonialism, have always ended up precipitating matters further, and a protest which could have been actually a creative input in the culture of Indian politics becomes in the process violent, unmanageable, and actually becomes itself a bone of contention. People are forgetting the main issue for which the protests have assembled, and though the regime is paying lip service to their cause, they are unable to accept the fact that the protest itself is being led by youngsters, and there are a few members of the opposition there within the protest. This is pathetic. This shows total absence of political sense,
in your view,
political skills, and this shows the mindset of a regime which has become essentially technocratic and bureaucratic.
But no one, hear the others. I'll certainly let you answer him in entirety.
Failure of governance,
I'll let you answer that, Sanjay Jha, in entirety. I would like to put that question to A.K. Verma. You have been a very, very experienced policeman. You've headed RAW. Dr. Verma, is this the, sometimes does the response lead to the outcome? Was there a lack of finesse in handling? Was there a sense of nervousness in your view? What would have been the appropriate response? Suppose a few people start throwing a few bottles or start throwing stones. In your view, is there a growing sense that you get that maximum force should be used to quell it and then send a message, never try this again?
I'm sorry I have lost your voice, but I heard part of your questions. The fact is that the police system has developed many weaknesses, and there is nothing being done to improve the police system. It is not that the police is failing the government or the society, it's the other way. It's the government and the society which is failing the police. Why do I say so? As Dr. Ashish Nandi just now said, it's a colonial police which is functioning. It's the same colonial police which had been set up by the British Raj in 1861 to guard the Raj interest as well as the officers of the Raj. And when India became independent, the same act was brought lock, stock, barrel and made applicable to the Republic in India. So the result is that the Police Act is providing safety and protecting the interests of the rulers and the officers, not of the people. Just like it didn't do anything for safeguarding the interests of the people during the British times. So this act needs to be completely thrown out. As long as this act is not thrown out, I don't think the police system in the country is going to change. Furthermore, I would like to remind that the Supreme Court had made certain mandatory directions with regard to police reforms. It is surprising that not a single state government or a central authority has acted on those mandatory orders. Why does it happen like this? the mandatory orders of the Supreme Court, if they are disobeyed, that shows utter lack of interest and intent on the part of any state authority, whether the central or the state, to improve the matters. And if these matters cannot be improved, I'm afraid the police will have these weaknesses, and there'll be no way to get a better police in the country.
Now, I have two points to make to both the Aadmi Party and the HamaraCongress.com representative. With your permission, please. And my point first to you, Sanjay, is that I think both sides are being extreme. You're being extreme, Shazia is being extreme. No, one sec. Let me tell you why you're extreme. You're extreme because you're saying that the entire Aadmi Party and Ramdev Brigade, all of them are violent. And Shazia, you're using it as a political argument to suit your political convenience. It's all right. But it's a political argument. And Shazia, you're being extreme because you're saying the post-mortem report is fabricated. You're not a forensic expert. You're not a medical expert, Shazia. So both sides are not seeing reason.
True.
I'm sorry.
True. I'm not.
Both sides. Okay, who goes first? Who goes first? You're actually letting us speak first.
Ladies first.
Okay, Shazia goes first. Yes, Shazia.
See, this is not the first time that, first of all, I really wonder, was it a matter of clairvoyance, whereby the Delhi Police Commissioner could predict the exact finding of the post-mortem report a day in advance? The RML doctors and also the eyewitnesses who actually assisted and carried Subhash Tomar ji to the hospital were present there, and they actually said that there were no external injuries. One.
No.
And the second point, and it's very important, that a day later the post-mortem report comes, which totally contradicts that of the doctors who attended to Subhash Tomar ji in person. So, and earlier, whether the Shopian rape and murders, whether it's a Manu Sharma CFSL report, which
we'll have to take each case separately.
Jahan trial,
we'll have to take.
There have been. But it's happened before. It's not new. Things happen. I agree. But it's happened before. It's not. I mean, the gentleman speaking before me, the preceding speaker said it cannot be concocted. But we also cannot say that it is not concocted for sure.
No, but then
there is benefit of doubt to be given to both sides.
I'm afraid.
That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying tonight is that both the Congress Party and the Aadmi Party, to suit their own political convenience and to settle scores, are going to extremes.
That is not true. That is not true, Arnab. No, Arnab, please don't say that, because that's not true.
Okay,
that's my view.
Let me just respond.
Firstly, the fact of the matter is, Arnab, can I say something?
An exception does not become the rule. So yes, I agree with you that there may have been cases in the past where perhaps there was an element of fabrication, but it still remains an exception. So let's not get too cynical. Point number two, and this is a very important question you raised. I do believe, Arnab, that the form of protest that is now beginning to take place in India is a novel challenge for any establishment.
No, I'll tell you why.
Let me finish my sentence.
Didn't Mandal Commission protest happen?
No, 1 minute. But this government engaged with, in fact, with the civil society for a long time on the anti-corruption Lokpal bill. We saw where that agitation went. And by the way, there was no violence. Even where this is concerned. And I'm very keen to respond to this. Because the government here was actually the police and the government said, please come and protest somewhere else because there are preparations going on for the Republic Day. There is a section 144. And please let us, I agree the police is not always right. Perhaps it's wrong as well more often. But there is a law and enforcement role it has to play, and let us not take away credit for them for delivering on that. All of us on this panel are ordinary citizens.
You never answered my question about going to extremes.
We also need the police. We need to respect a certain
Is the Aam Aadmi Party a violent party? Is the Aam Aadmi Party a violent party?
It's a provocative party. It is an opportunistic party.
You get provoked easily.
I make that allegation and I stand by it.
And you get provoked easily. Also admit that.
Not really. I think
the threshold of provocation.
Let me tell you why. The government's responsibility is not just to the protesters, but it's to the people of Delhi as a whole.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing?
Is Ranjana responsible for those who had to go to war?
Ranjana Kumari now.
Those who needed to go to hospital.
1 minute.
Those who had to take an aircraft.
I think
the government
this whole protest, first time ever in history of India,
young people have come forward to protest on violation and sexual offense against women. First time ever. I think the state has to respond to it. And please don't confuse the whole of this protest and whole of this, anger which has come out of on the street with this party or that party. Let them settle their scores outside. What is happening at the moment is that, there are the issue has been politicized, issue is getting all kinds. State has to respond to the people. State must respond every time. When we ask for women's reservation, it has not responded. When they ask for Lokpal bill, and today when the students, the young people are asking for law to really punish the people severely, why can't they call for one day?
Protest is legitimate.
You forgot all your issues. You have to raise that issue. They must call for one day debate in the parliament. We want the real issues to be in the center of the whole debate. We don't want issues to be deflected like that. Call for the session.
My information is, so you say that laws cannot be made on the streets. My information is that the Congress party and the BJP, on an average, when either party is in the opposition, stages one major street protest somewhere in the country every 2 weeks.
Yeah, but there is less parliament function. Congress-led parliament function. BJP doesn't let it happen.
So everybody can go. You can go. I can go. Political parties can go. A free and democratic country. Everybody can protest. Sabha, my question to you is a little deeper. Do you think the Congress party on the one side and this Ramdev plus Anna, I'm sorry for clubbing both together, Shazia, I know you won't like it, on the other side, need to know how to deal with each other. No, need to get to learn to deal with each other. Because the real Aam Aadmi, and I'm not saying the Aam Aadmi party, the real Aam Aadmi somewhere gets crushed in the deep and deepening fight between AAP and Ramdev on the one side and the Congress party on the other.
Actually, Arnav, I don't think the Aam Aadmi gets crushed in a sense, because I think in spite of all these debates and all these, fights that we've had here, this issue gets back to the core that the terrible things that happened to this girl strikes a chord with a lot of women. I think, sometimes we tend to ignore that. And I just have one remark to make, and I really don't want an answer from Sanjay Jha. Because in this whole thing of attacking the police and defending this and trying to blame the Aam Aadmi party, which we all know was very marginal to this whole thing. They were not the pivot of what happened here. It was a spontaneous thing that happened here. And certainly people who watch the media, but very legitimate. People have a right to express their views, in a legitimate way, and they were doing that. And the Aam Aadmi party was not central to the whole thing that was happening here. And, and with Sanjay Jha's sort of, defending the police here or the Congress here, and I'm getting very confused with what he's achieving here, especially on top of the fact that we've had the spectacle of the Delhi Congress government undermining the police and vice versa. So it's all pretty, the politics of it is messy. It's really unnecessary to what is a legitimate, spontaneous expression of people relating to what
I just, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to...
across the country, not
just... One second. Sanjay, I need to. Sanjay, 1 minute. Sanjay, 1 minute. 1 minute. Sanjay, can I please...
join only in Delhi.
So can I please, 1 second? I want to just tell our viewers, I'm getting Nikunj Garg on for a live update on that. The pictures you're seeing on your screen, there's an ambulance which is moved out of Safdarjung Hospital, and there are some reports. Nikunj Garg is on the phone line with us, and there are some reports that the 23-year-old victim there is being moved out of Safdarjung Hospital, that she could even be moved out of India for treatment.